thing. Anything? Nothing? 1-2, 1-2?
Hear that.
1-2, 1-2.
Yeah.
All good?
Yeah.
Do you want me to put this cover on it? It's probably better. Can you still hear me? Yep. Good?
Good. 1-2.
1-2,
3,
1-2.
4.
That'll be equal levels.
Stronger out of this one. You take this one.
Alright.
I'm louder anyway.
Alright, cool. You can yell into that one then. Too easy.
Test 1-2.
that one's
1-2.
yours.
Is this a good level?
1-2. Yeah.
1-2.
Not suited levels.
I'm hearing it through the stream.
Alright, we're live, so.
You don't want it on the floor?
Whatever you want.
I was going to say you can have it on the floor so you can read off it.
Easy.
When you do the one.
Still hear me? Yep. Good. 1-2. 1-2, 3, 4. That'll be equal levels. Hello and welcome to JL Murphy Reserve in Port Melbourne for round 2 of NPL Victoria's 2020 season as the Port Melbourne Sharks take on the Bentleigh Greens. I'm Josh Parrish and introducing on co-coms Josip Hertzog. Josip, welcome.
Thank you very much, Josh. Happy to be here. It is Bentleigh Greens, who have gotten off to a great start up against Port Melbourne Sharks. This is Port Melbourne's second home game straight. So after a 1-1 draw here at home against the Melbourne Knights last round, they'll be looking to get 3 points on the board, and who better to do it against than the reigning champs?
Indeed. Bentleigh Greens making a great start to the season with that 3-0 win over the Eastern Lions, with new recruit Brent McGrath starting up front again. 2 goals and a missed penalty. An eventful afternoon last weekend for him. Just the one change for the visiting side, with Nick Tolios starting Damien Iaconis on, we think, the left-hand side, although he is traditionally an out-and-out striker. He comes in for Alex Canilia. Whereas for Port Melbourne, Adam Pigg has rung the changes with, we think, a switch to a back 4. Michael Eager, Kaya de Godoy, Chris Kiusis and Ross Archibald coming in. Archibald and Kiusis, both new inclusions as compared to the side who faced the Melbourne Knights and drew 1-1 last week. Anthony Iancello also steps into the midfield in the absence of the injured Lockie Royce, who suffered that horrific leg break.
Yeah, it wasn't good to see that at all, especially in the middle of the pitch. Such a flying challenge. Wasn't really needed, but you got Evan Christodoulou who keeps his position. Yuta Konagaya, who's probably going to be on the 10. And then you've got Kamal Ibrahim and Mohamed Awad on either side, and as you said, a formation change. Last week it was Miloš Lujic and Chris Duggan playing the 2 up top, but this time Adam Piddick has chosen to go for Chris Duggan alone.
So we can see now as they line up a more traditional back 4 rather than the back 3 who took on the Knights last week for Port Melbourne. Archibald, Eager, de Godoy and Kiusis make it up with the 4-2-3-1. About to get underway here. Jack Morgan, the match referee. In midfield for Port Melbourne, Iancello starts alongside Evan Christodoulou with Mohamed Awad, Kamal Ibrahim and Yuta Konagaya making up the attacking midfield line. Chris Duggan retains his place as the striker, and it is Konagaya making an early impact, pressing off the kickoff here. The Japanese import, nice back heel. Teeing up to Kamal Ibrahim, cuts inside his man, gets the left-footed delivery into the area, but it's Jack Webster, the Bentleigh Greens captain, who stands tall to clear.
Very positive start from Port Melbourne. That was a very nice play there by Yuta Konagaya. He pressed and he got the ball, and he saw the run of Ibrahim, and then Ibrahim cut the ball in, but it was too easy for Bentleigh Greens to get the ball away. But nice positive start as Duggan is penalised there for a push in the back.
Yes, the Scottish-Australian Duggan spent most of his career there before moving over from East Fife last season. He was born in Perth but played his entire youth career in Scotland, and he looks the part this season. Here are the Bentleigh Greens, and McGrath losing out, but he will be pulled back for an earlier foul. Bentleigh Greens get the free kick.
And Josh, I am hearing the Melbourne Knights are up against Dandenong Thunder 1-0, saying it's a Gian Albano goal in the 14th minute.
Early breakthrough for the Knights. They had a tough old time of it here last week, but held out despite having 10 men for the majority of the contest. Jacob Alexander with the set piece, looking for Jankovic, who rises high but just mistimed his jump slightly and couldn't get any real power on it. Matt Symes gathers comfortably in the end. We'll restart with Kaya de Godoy. Christodoulou back to de Godoy. Up towards Duggan, who wants a free kick, but Jack Webster will get away with that one. Exidius into Dover. Eustace's header for Port Melbourne. Battle for possession here with Exidius. Eustace for a wad. Nice feet. And Port Melbourne recover the possession. Ian Cello under pressure now. Symes forced to clear. As the sun comes over the top of the grandstand, hopefully we'll be setting sooner rather than later for our viewers on Facebook Live and YouTube. It's a big switch out to Finn Beakhurst, the former Port Melbourne player, who's penalised for a high boot.
Yeah, the sun has come up at a weird moment. It's really stinging the eyes up here on the far side at JL Murphy Reserve. It's not the coldest night, Josh, but could be a bit warmer.
Up on the scaffold and not complaining. I've had a lot worse conditions in NPL Victoria, that's for sure. Under pressure here again, Port Melbourne from the Bentleigh press. And appeals for handball from the Bentleigh bench against de Godoy. Play on called. Over the top for a wad. Keeping the ball in play. Almost over the line there. But a wad penalised in the end for holding back his opponent. Josh Wallen, the man fouled, another of the new acquisitions for Bentleigh this season. Coming over from FC United of Manchester in England's lower leagues. A club set up by disgruntled Manchester United fans, unhappy with the Glazer ownership. And that's a late challenge flying in from Duggan, and the referee's paid no mind to it. Play goes on with Jack Webster still prone on the turf.
Well, I was expecting a whistle very quickly there, but Jack Morgan decided to let the play go.
I think he must have turned away from the play just before Webster cleared it, because it was a hefty tackle coming in from Duggan and perhaps worthy of a yellow card if the referee had seen it. And this is very concerning for Bentleigh. Their captain, their heart and soul in the centre of defence, looks to be in some trouble. He doesn't go down too easily, Jack Webster.
Nick Tolios has sent William Demanis and Corey Sewell start warming up. Two defenders in Bentleigh Green's bench. Seems to be in a bit of discomfort there.
Demanis perhaps the more natural replacement in the centre. Sewell is a versatile utility option, as we saw at the Knights last season. He played pretty much everywhere. And here's Lockie Royce approaching us on the touchline on crutches after his broken leg last week. Wish him the speediest recovery, as we do Jack Webster, who's still down, and I think it's a head injury. Referee signalling, so a worry.
We are very early into this contest, only 5 minutes played, and both coaches letting their players know Port Melbourne have a ball out there now. They're passing it around. Got to stay warm, especially round two. These chillier conditions, can't let the muscles go cold or you will see tension, and could be some unfortunate injury out there. So after the players have been warming up for the better part of 45 minutes, now there's this big break in play. And Webster's on his feet now, still clutching the back of his head, so I think he might be right there, Josh. Might be a head injury. Jack Morgan having a chat with Chris Duggan, probably letting him know that
he comes from a very physical league in the Scottish Third Division. Strikers almost expected to put themselves about in that fashion.
Well, it's about getting that early advantage over your opponent, I guess, and Duggan would come from, as you say, that type of environment where if you don't do that week in, week out, you're just going to get chewed up and spat out. So,
well, Jack Webster has returned to the field of play. Somewhat surprised by that after the lengthy stoppage, but the Bentleigh staff happy for him to play on despite the concern of concussion. Godoy up for the header. McGrath putting himself about. A nice little give and go with Beakhurst. Cutting inside, Kamal Ibrahim getting back to do the unfashionable defensive work. But Jankovic steps in to stop the counter. Now it's Archibald. Turns Beakhurst in the corner. Finds Ibrahim. Eager. Won't take any risks there. Ancello. For a wide, just a little bit of miscommunication between Awad and Kiusis. And Awad turns it over. A dangerous moment now for Josh Wallen, but the offside flag goes up against Damien Iaconis.
there was a little moment there. I think it was Wallen who had the ball. He could have actually turned and started running towards goal, but he looked to play it towards the Iaconis on the right, and Iaconis was standing in an offside position. So maybe a bit of gelling to do with this new look Bentleigh side.
Exidius turns it over, left Webster in the lurch there with that hospital back pass, and now it's Duggan across the face of goal for Konagaya, shoots on the angle, and Yuta Konagaya opens the scoring for Port Melbourne. What a tidy finish from the Japanese playmaker.
Oh, that was absolutely gorgeous there from Chris Duggan. James Exidius, he gave away the ball, and Duggan straight onto the attack, gets past one defender, plays it through to Konagaya. Konagaya very smart to take a touch, and then across the face of goal, beating Javier Lopez at the back post, and it's 1-0 Port Melbourne.
Nothing Lopez could do there, such a precise finish. Kept it low, hard, into the side netting. Beautiful from Konagaya. And you just wonder, Exidius, will he be regretting that mistake come the end of the 90 minutes? Left his captain in the lurch, and perhaps Jack Webster still shaking off that head knock. Maybe not as proactive as he might have been. He didn't know whether to stay or go on that one.
We just saw the animal instinct from Chris Duggan. As soon as he saw that he was going to get an edge on his opponent, he just pelted it forward and ran onto it. And Webster seemed a bit slow, but Duggan ran all the way around him and got the edge on his opponent. And then fantastic finish from Konagaya. I mean, he could have taken it first time. He chose to take a touch and settle himself, and Port Melbourne are looking fine.
Brilliant start for Port Melbourne. What can Bentleigh muster in response? Dover for Beakhurst. Picks out the on-rushing Jacob Alexander, whose touch is heavy and eager. Capitalises to send it out into touch. Nice run though from Alexander. He didn't cushion it as he would have liked, but there was space for him to break into. Seemingly a set routine from Bentleigh there. And he will send the throw long. Archibald's header. Christodoulou lost it. Eager didn't. And now Ibrahim keeps possession under pressure. Well played from Port Melbourne so far. Here's Kiosis. To Godoy. Chancing his luck a bit there. But Port Melbourne play through the lines. It's a lovely ball from Kiosis for a wad, but he cannot pick out Duggan. Trying to make up for it. Wallen wins it back. And now Exidius. Too heavy for Wallen, and De Godoy will clear. Just for a moment there, it looked like it might curl back into the path of Chris Duggan, but Harvey Lopez quick off the line.
It's quite windy for those of you watching at home here, as you saw with that ball. So it is Port Melbourne going from right to left against the wind, as Bentleigh Greens have the wind, but Port Melbourne looking good so far, playing with a bit of flair. So you're going to have to get it out here with Cusis. Just a few moments there, Chow De Godoy has just looked a bit unstable in that centre-back position. Just a couple of times. I mean, he got lucky there about a minute ago to even walk away with the ball, and then Port Melbourne were nearly on the attack there. But he's just seemed a bit unsettled in these first opening 10-15 minutes.
Probably more comfortable as a left back. He played on the left of a back three last week, so he's quite good on the ball. Lovely turn from Iancello, and he wins the free kick off Exidius. Taken quickly by Eager, but that is wayward for Duggan.
Exidius with that cheeky little clip on it. Iancello as he turned. 3 players around him. I wasn't sure where he was going to go, but he'd done well to get away from it.
Superb win by De Godoy there, and Duggan will have a go. Didn't get hold of it in the end. Lopez taking his time. Jankovic. Alexander. Plays it straight into the feet of McGrath. He lays off for Dover. Under pressure from Christodoulou. Bentleigh do well to keep it under their spell and switch the point of attack. Exidius for Yaconis, playing in a more unfamiliar rollout on the right-hand side today, with Beaker switching to the left. McGrath turns into Eager, but Jankovic will have a second bite at the cherry, and he goes direct. That's straight down the throat of Matty Symes.
Just have a look how far Michael Eager actually came out of his back four, his centre-back position to follow and track the run. Just goes to show that experience from Michael Eager. He's spent, I believe it was 5 seasons in South Melbourne before he made the trip down to Port Melbourne. He is so very experienced centre-back in the top flight of Victorian football. As Bentleigh break here.
Good defensive cover from Iancello. You could argue that South Melbourne have never truly replaced Michael Eager. Maybe they will this season with Liam Melmarzi coming in. Christodoulou with the tackle. Webster looking to take it quickly. Yaconis can't get a touch on it. Cusis sends it out for a throw. .30 league goals over the past 3 seasons for Damien Iaconis. Under Nick Tolios, of course, at Kingston City last year, and he's brought him across to the Bentleigh Greens, the new head coach. He had such a dream start to his Bentleigh Greens coaching career, winning the title in his first few games in charge. Awards flick, Christodoulou's header, and he'll get onto the return here, Evan Christodoulou, and he's fouled.
Great use of the body by Christodoulou, number 17 for Port Melbourne. Josh Wallen wasn't happy there. Thought he may have taken the ball off him, but fantastic.
Well, he knew where the defender was, and he just had to get his body between said defender and ball. Does have NPL experience, but Christodoulou joins from Altona City. Played State League 1 last season. Also spells at Avondale and amongst other clubs. Port Melbourne win the corner.
It's the first Port Melbourne corner for the match, I believe.
It might be the first corner, or maybe Bentleigh Greens have had one. I think
they had one.
Yeah.
Port Melbourne with their first. Be interesting to see the height difference inside the middle there. I mean, Michael Eager's made his way up. Chris Duggan's there. Chow Degotto is there.
Ross Archibald, another potential aerial target.
They've dragged 2 Bentleigh players out.
Ibrahim's corner to the back post. Duggan was up, but Harvey Lopez punched. Christodoulou will have a strike from distance. It's a spectacular hit, and only just wide.
Well, that there from Christodoulou, as he put it up on his left peg, was searching for that top corner, but Javier Lopez, I think, would have had that covered had that gone on target.
Perhaps inspired by Ruben Neves in the Europa League this morning. Fantastic volley. And Christodoulou is unlucky not to score a screamer there. Alexander wins it back for Bentleigh. Lopez comfortable with his feet. Wallen's pass eventually finds its target. And now Exidius. Dover getting between the lines. Kieran Dover shoots and saved by Matty Symes.
Nice low drive there from Kieran Dover, but Matty Symes equal to it as Bentleigh get another corner on this near side.
Well, we know Kieran Dover can hit them. Dandy Thunder last season spent time in the Melbourne Victory youth ranks. Jacob Alexander, the set piece specialist for Bentleigh Greens, into the near post. Eager heads away. Dover. Alexander's onside. Beats the first man. Gets the cross. But Eager manages to save it, and then a late challenge from Jack Webster. And
Webster there on Degotto, and you just saw him clip the ankle there. And Webster's being called now by Jack Morgan. He will be receiving a yellow.
Maybe a bit of revenge for the earlier tackle. Nick Tolios voicing his objections at what he sees as inconsistency. Tolios having words with the fourth official, Christopher Hope.
First yellow card of the game for Bentleigh Greens captain, Jack Webster.
We've had a lot of cards in NPL Victoria so far this season.
Well, we've had a lot of red cards, to say the least. 7 from 7. I mean, there was that horrific 3 red card game between Altona Magic and Hume City, but 7 across the board, across 7 games. So let's hope this weekend we see none.
Well, there's been some heavy suspensions dished out. That tackle on Lockie Royce may cost him his season, and it's cost Matthew Breeze 9 games for the Melbourne Knights.
But then even worse.
Well, Boonis from Green Gully, 11 games for pushing a match official. That's a big no-no.
It was Dan Lonergan and I were commentating that one last weekend, and there was it was Jordan Lampard who was going to get a yellow card for a late challenge on the far side. So while we were trying to look at what was going to happen with that yellow card, I just see Boonis throw an arm into the referee, and I'm like, what's going on here? And out of nowhere, the referee turns around, gives him a red card, and the Green Gully supporters were right below us where we were, and they were in complete shock, but so were we. Never seen anything like it.
It was a madcap game at St Albans last week. Their much-awaited return to the top flight in NPL. Bit of a shanked clearance from Symes into the wind. Kamal Ibrahim does well, and that's a delightful back heel from Yuta Konagaya. Brilliant recovery from Alexander, and then he undoes his good work with a terrible pass. Duggan for Ibrahim, but the cutback is wayward.
Well, you could argue that Ibrahim's cutback was in the perfect spot, but there was just no support there whatsoever.
He did have a wad in the box, but he's just expecting Duggan to make the return run a bit more hastily. Here is a wad. He's drifted right over from the opposite flank. De Godoy. Little no-look pass there. Christodoulou. Husis now. Early cross. It's a tough one for Lopez, but it just nestles on the roof of the net.
We've seen those go around before, Josh, haven't we?
Sure have. Especially with a keeper as diminutive as Javi Lopez. In goalkeeping terms, of course. It does have a decent spring on him. Eager reads the play. Husis wants supports, and he doesn't get it. Dover with the interception, and Exidias for Crooks. Hasn't been heavily involved on the ball so far, Matty Crooks, but he does make the overlapping run. Beakhurst forced to play backwards. Exidias pressed by Husis. Webster has to clear. De Godoy under pressure from McGrath, and he coughs it up. Here is Brent McGrath sending his marker this way and that, and Iconis was wide open in the centre of the penalty area, and only a desperate header from Michael Eager intervened.
And as we tick close to 25 minutes, if you've joined us since the 10th minute, it is 1-0 for Port Melbourne. It was a Yuta Konagaya goal. It was Chris Duggan who cut the ball in from the left-hand side. And it was Yuta Konagaya with a second touch across the face of goal to beat Javi Lopez in the Bentleigh goal. And that was in the 10th minute.
Alexander looking to reply, but Symes claims easily. The keeper rejoining Port Melbourne Sharks after his mid-season departure last year. I believe he was going for trials in Belgium, if I remember correctly. Fortunately, that fell through due to circumstances beyond his control, and he didn't make it back in time for the NPL registration deadline mid-season.
Shout out there to Yuta Konagaya with the little Maradona spin there.
He's had a few tricks and flicks so far tonight, a couple of back heels, not to mention a goal.
He's had a good half.
Ibrahim, half-hearted appeals for handball. And McGrath for Iaconis. Can't find the return pass from McGrath. Lovely feet from Chao de Godoy.
Just as we were saying, he was looking unsettled in that position.
He's a ball-playing defender for sure. McGrath. Webster. Lovely flick on from Jack Webster. Now it's Dover. He goes down. Real appeals for the free kick and offside against Chris Duggan. Coming back from an offside position there. The Scottish forward is Exidias. Dover. Webster found himself in nosebleed territory moments ago. Doesn't mind a cheeky run forward from the centre of defence. Bentleigh Green's captain, of course, memorably scored the goal for Bentleigh Greens in the grand final at Amy Park. It was just an outrageous chip from the angle. Not the type of goal you traditionally associate with a centre-back.
Is such a perfect way to finish off the season.
Duggan shoots from range and easily gathered by Javi Lopez, but Chris Duggan shown an appetite to shoot from distance early on.
This is his second, if I can remember correctly. This one was better than the first. The first one rolled barely towards the goal.
He's gradually getting closer. Of course, already an assist to his name tonight. Do notice that Adam Piddick on the Port Melbourne bench has been just riding Chris Duggan the entire game.
That's probably what fires him up.
Conor Geyer can't find a wide pass behind him, and Exidias plays in Iconis. McGrath was an option at the back post. They couldn't find him.
You just have to feel that Exidias held the ball too long there. I mean, the Bentleigh I know used to play the ball around quick, fast pace that go from defence into attack within seconds. Exidias just held it, and you had Iconis here on the right waiting, you had McGrath in the middle waiting, and no one was really moving. The ball wasn't going anywhere. So I feel Bentleigh are really going to, as this first half closes out, they're really going to have to put some pace behind the ball and behind their decisions.
Exidias has been a little ponderous from Bentleigh so far. That's a poor pass that Duggan intercepts, but Alexander wins the header. Archibald and Crooks' header. Referee not interested in any high foot appeals. Simultaneous kickoffs around NPL Victoria tonight. 5 games, 3 currently taking place. Melbourne Knights 1-0 up against Dandenong Thunder at Summer Street, and Green Gully 0-0 against Hume City after 15 minutes. And Chowder missed that one, but good cover from Ross Archibald. Cleared by Symes. Wallen's header. Godoy down for Kamal Ibrahim. Archibald. They've been pretty direct so far, Port Melbourne. The Bentleigh Greens press is such a key part of their game plan this season, and Port Melbourne frequently just looking to bypass it. Shanked by Kiusis, and that's behind for a corner. You can tell that was his swinger, his non-preferred foot, as he almost volleyed that on target towards his own goal.
And just as you said, Josh, 1-0 for the Knights, make that 2 just before half time. Apparently they've been able to knock in a penalty there against Dandenong Thunder. So Thunder, who got that massive win against Dandenong City in the derby, 2-0 down.
Dover's corner. Symes with the punch. Alexander back into the danger area. It might fall for Webster. De Godoy manages to clear. A nervous moment for Port Melbourne. Nothing comes of it. Exidias. Konis can't reel it in, and now Christodoulou. The ball nearly
got to catch that one, Josh.
Nearly had to play goalkeeper. So that one went flying. We had our cameraman taken out a couple of times last season, memorably at Nick Tollius' old ground. If you go back and look at the Melbourne Knights Kingston game at the Grange Reserve, you'll see a spectacular totaling of the camera in through a window as well.
I missed that one.
We're in a far more exposed position here on the scaffold at JL Murphy Reserve. Exidias. McGrath bought that one, but shows his experience.
For those of you guys viewing at home, drop us a comment, let us know where you're watching from and how you think this game's going to end up, with Port Melbourne, who you could say are the underdogs coming into this one, 1-0 up at home.
Wallen. Headed away by Archibald. Ibrahim to clear. Marie asking who scored for Port. It was Yuta Konagaya with the opening. Damien Iaconis now on the ball for Bentleigh. Alexander whips it in. Eagers header only as far as Dover. Bentleigh forced to play backwards. Now Wallen. Dover involved again with Exidias now. Kiusis. Excellent use of the body. Needs a quicker release though. Iancello. McGrath winning that one very cleanly. Across the face of the penalty area, but Christodoulou intercepted. Now Iancello finds Konagaya. Kiusis. Held up by Iaconis. The Godoy skywards and Jankovic meets the high ball. Big punt by Christodoulou. I feel as if both teams are playing a high wire act at the moment. One mistake. It could be 1-1 or 2-0.
You're not wrong there, Josh. I mean, little communication defaults there from Bentleigh Greens. They're looking to work the ball around. They're looking to go wide now.
Here's Crooks running down the line. What's he got in the middle? Takes on to Godoy. Blocked and behind for a corner.
Once again, I say, Josh, I just feel like they're taking too much time on the ball. The ball needs to come in quicker. The runs need to come in quicker. They're giving Port Melbourne too much time to actually drop back once they get in behind the defensive line.
Alexander's had plenty of set-piece duties so far. Frequently from the right-hand side. Left back having to trek all the way across the field. He takes this one to the back stick. Archibald clears. And puts it behind.
Port Melbourne just put themselves under pressure there. That original corner was going straight out for a goal kick.
Frustration from Adam Piddick, Port Melbourne coach on the bench. He wants more communication in the back line. It was unnecessary concession of the corner, as you say, Josip. Dover with the in-swinger. Eager heads away. And Beakhurst will opt to keep it in. And he's been pulled back by Iancello.
It's going to be a yellow here.
It was a cynical one from Anthony Iancello. A really good position for Jacob Alexander to swing this one in. He's overhit it slightly, and even the big frame of Marko Jankovic can't keep the ball in play.
Well, I think that one's actually gone onto the main road. Plummer Street here in Port Melbourne.
Hasn't quite found his radar, has he, Jacob Alexander, from those set pieces? Used to seeing more quality from him.
Number 6 for Bentleigh Greens has his cheer squad out. Rachel Wallen says cheering for Bentleigh and Josh Wallen from Byron Bay.
I believe she was watching along during the Community Shield as well. Hello to you, Rachel, and all of our viewers from around the country. We often have Jack Webster's family tuning in from a little village outside Leeds in the UK.
We do get some interesting countries watching our NPL Victoria action. But great to have every game live on YouTube and Facebook once again after the success of last season.
Conagai's flick. Kamal Ibrahim gets in front of Alexander and he's taken down from behind. The referee, linesman both in a good position and they say nothing doing. Adam Piddick can't believe it. Ibrahim couldn't touch it, he was coming back from offside. Incello. Speaking of exotic locales, we had a viewer tuning in from Bulgaria a couple of weeks ago during the Community Shield broadcast. Let us know where you're watching. And Alex Schiavos is on the bench for Bentleigh Greens today. Was actually watching that match from Hawaii.
Yes, I remember that. I was watching that game in the comfort of my own home, and I heard you and Chris Gleeson having a little giggle there. That was interesting. What was the cocktail?
I think it was a double shot mojito.
Oh, that's the
He may have just been playing along with us though. Free kick for Bentleigh. And they take it backwards and again trying to use the full width of the pitch. Zidias for Crooks. Lovely touch. Just set Alexander away. The cross didn't match. Iconis. Shot blocked. And Kiusis closed down by Beakhurst. The wingers have swapped for Bentleigh. In this 4-3-3.
Also got Meek Moe supporting Muhammad Awad from Somalia.
Fantastic. Awad coming from the Knights. He joined midway through last season. Played for Eastern Suburbs in the New Zealand League.
And he is a New Zealand champion. He's got one title under his belt up there with Eastern Suburbs.
Is that the Summer League? They have two leagues in New Zealand.
Yeah, I believe so, because he was interchanging between. I believe he actually went back to Eastern Suburbs after the end of the NPL season last year, and then made his way back here.
Busy man.
A lot of football being played.
Port cough it up, but Dover can't keep the move going. That's lovely feet from Ibrahim to beat Crooks. Now Conagaya. Archibald. Iancello. This is some nice football from Port Melbourne. And a respite from all that Bentleigh Greens possession. Archibald. Duggan. Now Conagaya, the goal scorer. Such a dangerous dribbler. That one's deflected. Iconis out-muscled by Archibald in the end. The former Bentleigh Greens player himself, Ross Archibald. Kiusis beating multiple players here. Needs an option. Now Duggan strikes and deflected. In fact, no. Just straight over the crossbar. Thought it might have taken a touch on the way through.
Following the same pattern, Chris Duggan. This is his third shot. Best one of the lot. But this one has gone too high.
For his left foot this time, he got a sweet connection on that one.
So we are heading very close to half-time here at JL Murphy Reserve in Port Melbourne. 3-4 minutes to go, but I am expecting at least 3 minutes of stoppage, as we had a big stoppage there very early in this contest in the 5th minute as Captain Jack Webster went down.
And now it's a concern for the Byron Bay fan club as Josh Wallen goes off injured temporarily. I think maybe just caught one in the face there. Stray arm, perhaps. Jack Webster encouraging Josh Wallen to rejoin the action as soon as possible. If he can shake off a head knock, why can't Joshy, I guess? Symes gathers. So I was saying earlier about Symes, played half a season at Preston Lions after leaving Port Melbourne for European trials and not returning in time to re-register. But he did help the win promotion from State League 1 up until the new NPL 3 division. Jankovic, good cover to keep it away from the dangerous Awad. Iancello can't find Kamal Ibrahim. Maybe the better option was Conor Geyer, but he didn't find him. Exidias for Beakhurst. Straight down the line, Finn Beakhurst. Iancello's done a superb job so far screening that midfield.
What a run from Awad. And
could easily have been a yellow card there for Kieran Dover, but
well, I'm very interested to see why the yellow card's not being dished out.
It's a bit cynical.
Clearly there was intention there.
Coaching staff, Port Melbourne agreeing with you, Josip. And Archibald taken down from behind.
The Greens are getting away with a few here, in my eyes anyways.
Well, he's a player with a checkered injury history, Ross Archibald. Knee injury, I believe, curtailing his chance at the big time in Germany, where he spent a short spell with the Fortuna Dusseldorf Seconds. And we will see a change, I believe. Maybe just... We'll get to the bottom of that one shortly. Awad with the strike deflected. Yes, Josh Wallen has gone to the bench after that knock, and George Lambatarides takes his place. I was wondering for a second if it was just a change of shirt, but no, that is a new player, George Lambatarides, coming on.
Well, I think everyone was confused there because we didn't see the substitutions board come up and nothing happened at the same time.
I think there may have been some confusion with the fourth official in the touchline as well, but I'm sure they'll sort out the paperwork in due course. Bentleigh back up to 11 players is the important thing for Nick Tolios, but an unfortunate early end to the night for Josh Wallen after, I believe, copping a stray arm to the face. Beakhurst trying to latch onto this one. Chatagotoy favoured for it, and good use of the body by the centre half. Duggan couldn't keep it in. Webster looks for Beakhurst. Hughes not sharing sparing the young winger from physicality. Christodoulou back to Kiusis. McGrath. And Cello with the daring turn under pressure. He's left the pass a little short, and now Beakhurst. And the free kick on the edge of the box for Bentleigh Greens. Iancello coming in late.
Well, it was a death-defying turn there, but then he gave the ball away, and Bentleigh Greens on the turn were looking to attack, and Port Melbourne are not happy, especially after, you could argue, not getting fair share of yellow cards against their opposition. Now if this one goes in from the newly arrived George Lambatarides, it will be a very interesting second half on our hands.
Alexander's there as well. I think Lambatarides favoured to take this one. The big central midfielder. It is Lambatterides, and it had a nice shape on it too, but just wide. Always curving away from goal, and Symes did not look particularly concerned. Symes with the goal kick. McGrath. Archibald head back to his goalkeeper.
We are over 2 minutes into stoppage time here in the first half, but I'm not too sure how much time has been added on, as for the second time I don't have a fourth officials board. I didn't have one at Churchill Reserve last week when it was Dan Lonigan and I, and don't have one this week either. We don't know what's happened there.
Well, we'll have to go without. I'm sure the coaches have been informed, but commentators not so.
Paul Melbourne.
Here is Conagaya. And there is the halftime whistle as the mystery amount of stoppage time elapses. And we go in at 1-0, an early opener from Yuta Conagaya. Very tidy finish into the bottom right corner after being teed up by Chris Duggan. Bentleigh Greens fought for an equaliser but have looked a little disjointed and have had to make a first half substitution. Josh Wallen going off injured and George Lambatterides coming on in his place. What did you make of the first half, Josip?
Well, it's been a clean first half, but I'm very impressed with the way that Port Melbourne came out, especially in those opening first few minutes. They really took the game to Bentleigh Greens and have shown that on the scoreboard. But very positive stuff from the home side. Bentleigh Greens, they will need to move the ball around a bit more. They did have the win this first half, so now they'll have to attack against it. One yellow card either side, which is positive to see. Jack Webster on a yellow and Anthony Iancello on a yellow. That one rhymes there. Anthony Iancello on a yellow. I like that. But yeah, gearing up for the second half. We should have a great match in front of us.
Well, all to do for the Bentleigh Greens in the second period, with Port Melbourne looking quite solid in the back line. At half-time at JL Murphy, it's Port Melbourne 1, Bentleigh 0. Heidelberg. The Burgers up 1-0 as Damien Iaconis has a chance for Bentleigh. Low strike, easily saved by Matthew Symes. I'm Josh Parrish on co-commentary tonight. Josip Herchog.
Good to be here, Josh, and excited for this second half. I mean, as you said, Bentleigh with a lot of productivity in terms of the ball, but no end product in terms of getting the ball into the back of the net. But we did have 4 goals while we were off air. 4 goals have been scored around the grounds. But Dandenong Thunder with a massive comeback. Knights had a 2-0 lead heading into the second half, and Dandenong Thunder have come back. But Port Melbourne with possession now, and we're in for a very interesting second half, I believe, Josh.
Long ball over the top for Conagaya. Chris Duggan takes over and cuts it back to Kamal Ibrahim. Stands up. Alexander looks for the cross to the back post. Exidius plays it safe. Bentleigh thought the ball had actually curved out of play there, but the linesman didn't agree. Looks as if it's Kiusis on set-piece duties.
And we've got Matt and Tumanopoulos looking to come on. And it will be Anthony Incialo coming off. Anthony Incialo, of course, on a yellow card in the first half. But don't know too much about Tumanopoulos, so it will be very interesting to see how he fits into this Port Melbourne lineup after not playing last week.
He's taken over the number 8 from Macaire. Kamal Ibrahim swings it into the back post. Fingertips on it from Javi Lopez. The left back, Kiusis, to take this one. In swinger, his favoured left peg. Conagaya comes short. And the corner misses everybody. Evan Christodoulou to reel it in at the back stick. And that's out for a goal kick.
I really want to see Bentleigh Greens moving the ball around in this second half. One of their biggest sort of frustrations in the first half there was they didn't move the ball around quick enough. They'd get into an advancing position in the final third, and then the final ball just wasn't quick enough, and it just they weren't able to break past Port Melbourne as they were allowing the hosts time to come back and track back. So Bentleigh Greens are really going to have to move the ball around a lot quicker this second half.
Jankovic winning that free kick. Port Melbourne bench accusing him of some theatrics. The Bentleigh Green centre half, who has it now. Alexander. Under pressure from Ibrahim and Conagaya. Has a little help from Jankovic, and now it's Iaconis for McGrath. A real talking point is how Bentleigh Greens do integrate their 3-star forwards. As Awad takes on Jankovic. Easy pickings for Javi Lopez in the end. They do have Brent McGrath and Damien Iaconis in the starting 11 tonight. Iaconis forced to play off a flank. And Matt Thurtell, not currently in the matchday squad, but has re-signed from last year. Prolific goal scorer for Bentleigh Greens, Josip.
Yeah, well, Matt Thurtell, I mean, he's got 67 goals for the club. And then you look at McGrath, who scored 1 in 1 after netting on debut last week. And then you got Iaconis, as you said earlier in the broadcast, 30 goals in top flight.
And here he is, Iaconis, taking on Archibald. He lays it off for Lambatarides, and that's over the crossbar.
Yeah, 30 goals in top flight Victorian football. So you just have a look at the numbers there. And then you have a look at the ages. I mean, Iaconis is 23, Thurtell's 27, and McGrath is 28. You've got 3 peaking strikers. Who do you choose?
Well, McGrath's the current first option. I think he actually got 2 goals against Eastern Lions last week. I have to double check that Josip, but certainly had a great start to life in a Bentleigh Greens jersey regardless.
Yeah, I believe you actually might be right there, jogging the memory. But I think I do remember Clem Tito and Michael Thompson talking about a second goal. But thanks for that one, Josh.
I guess it's 2-2 if you include the Community Shield curtain raiser, which Bentleigh Greens took out on penalty kicks. Finished scoreless with Hume City there. Port Melbourne back underway. Connor Geyer. Alexander flicks the header away from danger, only as far as Kamal Ibrahim, who'll take the corner. Interesting, the change in Tumanopoulos, the new player introduced for Port Melbourne Sharks. Seems to be a like-for-like swap in holding midfield. The number 8 coming on for the yellow card in Ian Cello. Here's Kiusis' corner. It was Duggan who was climbing, and it will be a free kick for Bentleigh. Port Melbourne still have Lujic, Francesco Stella and McCare in reserve. Iaconis plays it back. Will Dumanis, Corey Sewell and Alex Giavo on the bench for Bentleigh Greens, as well as the backup goalkeepers, of course. Here's Exidias, low ball, intercepted by Chada Godoy. And Duggan had a flag up against him. Referee tried to play advantage. Lambertaridis. Now Yankovic. Really intriguing tactical battle between these two highly rated coaches in NPL Victoria. Ibrahim buys the throw-in. Any updates from around the grounds, Josip? Dandenong City might have had a goal ruled out, unless it's a data entry error on the live score. Duggan can't find the teammate. Port Melbourne win it back thanks to the persistence of Connor Geyer. Kiusis can't keep the ball away from two Bentleigh Greens wide players. Although he's redeemed himself wonderfully there. Lovely nutmeg in front of the home fans, draws a round of applause. That's a good ball. The outside of his right boot from Lambertaridis, but Iaconis has had a bit of a frustrating night so far. Turns it over again. Crooks. Beakhurst out-muscled. And now Awards had the beating of Exidias. He comes back inside him and he's still going. Connor Geyer with a little chip ball over the top for Awards. Flag is up for offside. But a lovely move from Port Melbourne.
Well, that was gorgeous play there. Awad kept the ball and he just turned his back towards Exidias, didn't let him have any of it, and then the cheeky flick over the top. I can't remember who it was who flicked it over the top, but the run from Awad, it was a gorgeous run, but assistant referee says just too quick.
McGrath avoids getting involved lest he be flagged. The Godoy clears. I think it was Connor Geyer with the little flick over the top around the corner after lovely work from Kiusis deep in the build-up. A very skillful attacking left back. Bentleigh throw. Plenty of tension on the benches. Exidias. Bentley move breaks down again with Jack Webster joining the attack but unable to make a more meaningful contribution. Here's a Wad, who just somehow keeps possession. And Connor Geyer plays it into the path of a Wad again. Duggan gets a second bite at the cherry. And Harvey Lopez claims.
Well, Utah Connor Geyer, he's not the tallest bloke on the pitch, but he went up against Lopez there, but nearly got the head onto it to drive it into the goal. I mean, if Port Melbourne are looking pretty nice here, having more opportunities than Bentleigh, especially in the last 5-10 minutes. But if Port Melbourne can get themselves a second here, they may be on course for victory, Josh.
Here's Beakhurst. Past two players, Finn Beakhurst. Foul on the edge of the box. And that's a dangerous set-piece opportunity for the Bentleigh Greens once again.
Well, this is about the 18th foul of the match today, and we've only seen 2 yellow cards. So Jack Morgan not showing the yellows today, but maybe he could have showed a bit more. But leave that for other people to decide.
Others more qualified than us to make that judgment, I'm sure, but he certainly has erred on the side of caution, or less cautions, I suppose. Alexander standing over this one for Bentleigh. Webster's header, Symes comes out a long way from goal, and the free kick goes Port Melbourne's way.
Well, yeah, Webster got the head on it, but the ball lurked around the same area, and then Symes came around, and Jack Morgan says that foul play on the keeper. Maybe it was his body that it was that the decision goes that way. I'm not really sure how you can judge that one, but
it's a goalkeepers union. Josip, they tend to get the benefit of the doubt in those scenarios, but it seemed to be Symes almost initiating that contact, so perhaps fortunate the Port Melbourne keeper to get away with it.
Yeah, well, that's sort of half the reason why I don't understand it. But like you said, there's more people more qualified than us to make these decisions. As play continues,
Crooks wins the challenge in a crowded area, and they try to release Iaconis. Crucial intervention from Archibald, but McGrath has the second ball. He finds Iaconis in a central position. Now Beakhurst just couldn't get control of it, and Godoy hacks it clear. Lovely little shimmy from Jacob Alexander past Ibrahim, and Tumanopoulos couldn't get there. McGrath! And Bentleigh are level, and it's Brent McGrath, their star signing in the off-season, who latches onto a loose ball inside the box and buries it unerringly into the bottom corner. 1-1.
Very frustrating here for the hosts, Port Melbourne. They've played a very good game so far, but just that empty ball, no one was really latching onto it, and who other than the Scottish sensation, Brent McGrath. He's come, last week he got 2, this week 1, he's got 3 on the board, and Bentleigh managed to equalise. It is Port Melbourne Sharks 1, Bentleigh Greens 1.
And a substitution being made here. Damien Iaconis, that's the end of his night, and a more traditional winger in Alex Schiavo coming on, the number 22. Brent McGrath, that's 3 goals in 2 league games so far. What a start to life in NPL Victoria. Not the first time he's played in this division, of course. Short spell, prolific, but limited spell with the Bentleigh Greens back in 2014, where he scored 9 goals in 13 appearances. Connor Geyer. Ibrahim. Free kick goes against the new man, Alex Schiavo. And Macaire, the South Sudanese international, being prepared by Port Melbourne. Can play in the centre of defence or in midfield. His brother actually plays in the NBA. Offside against Duggan. Here's Beakhurst for Dover, who shoots, and it's way too high. Almost onto the main road and over the second pitch.
Well, it looks like Piddick has just told McCare to just keep warming up. He's not quite convinced to make a decision as of yet, but my sort of what I want to know is whether Port Melbourne are actually going to attack this one and try get that winner, or are they going to sit back and try to compress in defence?
Well, they do have attacking options. Francesco Stella and Milos Lujic, chief among them. Tell us about Stella's performance last week, Josip. He was a game changer.
Yeah, well, look, Stella came on last week. At Port Melbourne and Melbourne Knights, there wasn't really much movement. It was pretty much of a dead match. I mean, Watson did get that goal first, but Port Melbourne were chasing, and then Stella came on, and he just ignited the game. It was just a spark of brilliance. And then he got everyone, rounded up the troops, got everyone together, and it was a telltale sign that Port Melbourne may come back, and it was Stella who got the goal past Harry Chakarun. So they weren't able to win it in the end, but you might think that Stella is the man that must come on to do it again 2 weeks in a row.
As Yuta Konagai at closing down Javi Lopez. Would have been an embarrassing one for the Spanish goalkeeper had that one flown in. Now, Awad and Tumanopoulos. Ibrahim for Awad. Cuts inside onto his left and saved by Lopez. Powerful drive, but a good height for the goalkeeper. Archibald. Hopeful one over the top for Awards, and that trickles out for the goal kick.
Yeah, just heard Kamal Ibrahim there. There's a bit of a lack of communication. Kamal Ibrahim was telling Archibald to keep going, but Archibald persisted to get the ball over the top. So they're going to need to keep up that communication. Another back heel from Konagai, a real feature of his game tonight. And he gets the return from Antumanopoulos and sends it in low for Duggan, who can't get enough on it. Trickles agonisingly across the face of goal for Port Melbourne. Kiusis. Ibrahim. Can they make them pay? Kamal Ibrahim still going. Space to shoot. Well saved by Lopez. Port Melbourne are brewing chances here. They're having opportunities to get this goal lead back. Kamal Ibrahim there, very experienced player. And Javi Lopez was equal to it. Port Melbourne corner.
Shaped invitingly for the 2015 gold medalist, Kamal Ibrahim. Had so much space and time. Nick Tolios would have been tearing his hair out on the bench. Hughes with the corner. Lopez palms away. Eager battling for it. And the high foot going against the Port Melbourne captain. Bentleigh start again quickly, but that one's no good, and Christodoulou intercepts. He's eager. Can't hold on to it. Lovely hold-up play from McGrath. And now Bentleigh look to open up the game with Beakhurst, who's through one-on-one with the keeper and chased down by the substitutes. And Tumanopoulos proving his value. A goal-saving challenge.
Well, that was Finn Beakhurst's opportunity to show why he went from Port Melbourne to the Bentleigh Greens. But maybe just a bit of stage fright there, Josh.
Yeah, he was the right side of the defence, but he's just been out-muscled on several occasions today. So we finally see that change. McCare. And it looks to be Ross Archibald coming off. So potentially playing it right back. McCare. looks like a straight swap for the Sharks.
Just as you were saying there, Josh, very versatile player, can play anywhere.
Anywhere across midfield or the back line. His brother Thon represents the Detroit Pistons in the NBA. You can see the height runs in the family. Ibrahim. Schiavo goes down. Advantage paid by the referee. I don't know if Bentleigh wanted it. Exidias with the cross. McCare heads away. Beakhurst for Crooks. And Bentleigh circulate possession again. Can they find a telling opening with all this possession? Yankovic. Alexander. He's been taken out by Kamal Ibrahim, and Jack Morgan, who's been reticent to produce the cards this evening, has no choice but to show him the yellow ticket.
It is only the third yellow card of the match, of course, but that was quite cheeky there from Ibrahim and a lot of intent shown there, Josh.
Yeah, he didn't show too much regard for his opponent. Schiavo. Alexander. Back with Alex Schiavo. Duggan. No support up front for the Scotsman.
And apparently, Josh, we've had what could be a winner at Knights Stadium. Melbourne Knights have found their way back after dropping a 2-0 lead. It was 2-2, and now apparently they've got themselves a 3-2 lead. So it'll be interesting when we get confirmation of that.
Well, say what you like about Dandy Thunder, it's never boring, is it? 3-2 win in stoppage time against City last week. They might be on the wrong end of one today. Beakhurst can't find McGrath, who gives him an absolute earful, the veteran front man. Lambatarides for Crooks. Alexander. Awad can't keep it in play. Ibrahim fells Schiavo, and he's got to be careful here, the Port Melbourne star. He's already on a yellow card, and can't be too many more of those before the referee's patience runs out. I don't think there was too much intent on that one, but certainly a foul.
Yeah, as you said there, Josh, he's got to be careful. He was just booked a minute ago, but there's Jacob Alexander over the ball here. Bentleigh Greens, can they get a winner?
In dangerously, and the referee picks out an infringement in the box.
Entering the final 20 minutes here, Josh. It is 1-1. Where do you see this one going?
Well, I think it depends a lot on the approach that Port Melbourne take. Do they try and sit on this, or do they go for a winner? They've looked the more cutting-edge attack, even if it's frequently coming in transition, as Duggan does well to keep his balance and releases Awad. Awad for Conagaya, still alive. Here's Duggan, blocked. And Schiavo prevents the corner. They've still got Lujic and Stella on the bench.
I don't think they have any more substitutions, do they?
They've brought on, just doing some calculations, they've brought on Ntumanopoulos and McCare, just the one change remaining for Port Melbourne, in fact. So Francesco Stella, last week's game changer, will be hoping to see the field. Ntumanopoulos. Ibrahim. Conagaya's header. unlikely source of aerial prowess. He gets underneath that one. Bentleigh have brought on their 2 attacking players. They've still got Corey Saul and Will Demanis, who are more defensive-minded utilities. Schiavo keeps it in. McKay. Simonopoulos makes up for his error and wins the throw. Conagai. Simonopoulos for Duggan. Yankovic with the tackle. Alexander goes all the way back to Lopez, who takes no chances. Eager wins the header. Christodoulou was up against Dover. And Simonopoulos plays one for a wad to run onto, and they've got plenty of pace in the attacking third, do the Sharks. Awad shows too much of the ball to Yankovic. He'll have another opportunity now. Bentleigh win it back, and now Dover goes for the quick release. Symes way off his line. Playing sweeper keeper. A lot of pace on these flanks now for Bentleigh, trying to get in behind his Port Melbourne backline.
Well, I think they're just going to have to utilise the pace of Alex Schiavo. I mean, he's come in to the left-hand side. You've still got, as they break forward now,
Jack Webster. In fact, it's McGrath. Cut in for Dover! And into the side netting. The Bentleigh bench thought it was in. Huge opportunity. Gone begging.
It was a nice move, but that's what happens when you move the ball a bit quicker, isn't it, Josh? I mean, they had that issue in the first half, but now in the second half, especially that chance there, did drop to Dover, but it was unfortunate that they couldn't put that one into the back of the net.
Duggan's flick. He's had less run of it in the second half, Chris Duggan. Wonder how much longer he'll last, the big front man.
See, this is that moment where you would need Francesco Stella to just come on the final 15 minutes, just add a bit of pace, add a bit of belief into this Port Melbourne side as Bentleigh look to be taking the ascendancy here in the final 15 minutes.
I have to agree, Josip. I think Bentleigh will go for it, and Port Melbourne, if they have the right personnel, could pinch it on the break. And Simonopoulos turns under pressure superbly. Christodoulou, Conagai can attack the ball, and now Bentleigh come forward through Dover. Checks onto his left, plays in Schiavo, who wants it on his right. And he really telegraphed it there, the substitute. Ibrahim, Conagai. Ibrahim releases Awad. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gossip, but it looks like Port Melbourne have actually gone to 3 at the back here, with Kamal Ibrahim playing as more of a wing back. Looks like a 3-4-1-2.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out if that's Mohammed Awad that's taken the front.
Here's McGrath for Beakhurst. A crucial challenge from De Godoy, denies the former Port Melbourne player. He looks to have come off a little worse for wear after that one.
Yeah, well, Finn Beakhurst, he's had a tough time playing against his old teammates there, especially that centre-back pairing today of Chow De Godoy and Michael Eager. They know each other quite well after playing together last season, but Beakhurst has not been able to peg one against his old side as of yet. Still time remaining, though.
Alexander's corner again. Eager heads away. Awad moved into more of an advanced role, playing up front, I believe, alongside Chris Duggan in this 3-5-2. The shape they adopted last week against the Knights. Piddick's side showing some tactical versatility in this one. Christodoulou. Christodoulou lets Schiavo in a little too easily. Now Exidias.
I think they're still defending with that 4 in the back, but I think Piddick's given Kiusis the free roam in attack to go more forward.
Playing a slightly more advanced wing-back position. However you break it down, McCare has certainly drifted narrower to defend against Schiavo, who regains his footing. And then a great challenge from McCare. Nicks it off his toes. But Melbourne wanted the free kick. They won't get it as McGrath battles with Christodoulou.
And just as we were talking about red cards before, Melbourne Knights have taken the lead. It is a 3-2 for the Knights, but Harry Chuckerton, their goalkeeper, has gotten a red card.
As it's cut back towards McGrath. Apologies, Josip, we stay with play. You were saying Harry Chuckerton, the goalkeeper.
Apparently Harry Chuckerton, the goalkeeper, has gotten a red card for the Knights, so there's the first one of round 2.
Hopefully we don't get 7, as we did on the opening weekend of NPL Victoria. Although it was an exciting weekend, so certainly a madcap at times.
Well, with 5 games on tonight and most of them nearly over, I think we're safe in that department.
Alexander. Dangerous ball, and somehow it stays out. How did Marko Jankovic not make it 2-1?
Well, he's headed the ball into the ground, and as it's bounced off, wouldn't have taken a bobble or anything there, but just did not calculate it enough, and Matthew Symes got lucky there, and Piddick just in front of us showing his frustrations. Bentleigh are on the attack.
And Piddick absolutely furious about the lack of marking off that corner. Jankovic, one of the prime aerial targets, point blank range. I mean, he did everything right. He headed the ball down. Just got a hefty bounce off the surface. Maybe if he connects with that one a little less sweetly, the ball ends up in the back of the net, Josip.
Well, sometimes it's the lack of connection that does bring the ball into the goal, isn't it, Josh?
Headed it too well, as the cliche goes. Here's Awad on his right boot. That's well wide. This one still hangs in the balance as we approach the climax of this one. Eager wins the header. Ibrahim back for McCare. And Duggan's surely fouled Jankovic there, yes. Into 7 minutes of stoppage time at Summer Street. As Port Melbourne win the ball high. Kiusis plays in Konagaya. Can't beat the first man with a cross. Disappointing end product after he's had such a great game. Yuta Konagaya. Of course, opened the scoring for Port Melbourne in the first half before Brent McGrath equalised in the second for the Bentleigh Greens. Konagaya getting his shirt pulled. He wants the free kick. Hasn't been granted it so far. He's not best pleased either. Here's Mohamed Awad for Port Melbourne. Can't beat Jack Webster. And the referee plays advantage. McGrath. Beats McCare. Can't quite beat Christodoulou. It was a driving run by Brent McGrath. Ibrahim. Big appeal for handball just outside the box there. And Port Melbourne get the throw. He's 3-3 at Summers Street, Josip. What a finish to that one.
Well, Brandon Barnes, I want to know how he does it, because how have Dandenong Thunder come back from 2-0 down to get a 3-3 draw with basically the final kick of the game, 97 minutes into the game, and Dandenong Thunder equalise, and it's 3-3. So Melbourne Knights on 2 points after 2 games.
His second stoppage time goal in as many weeks, Brandon Barnes. What a machine he is at NPL Victoria level. The Godoy for a wad. This game's certainly not done and dusted as a wad dribbles at Yankovic, turning him inside and out. Brilliant run. Kiusis deflected. And it just took the sting out of it in the end. Harvey Lopez, the most relieved man inside JL Murphy reserve.
Well, as Awad had the ball there, he cut it back. And it was just looking like the goods there, Josh. It was looking like the goods, but Kiusis got a touch onto it. And the man in front of us who's getting ready, Francesco Stella, wouldn't have he loved to have been on the end of that?
Lambatarides. Schiavo. Running at Kiusis. Schiavo blocked. Behind for a corner. And Chris Kiusis draws a big round of applause from the Port Melbourne juniors behind the goal. Fantastic to see. Whole club out in force, supporting their side. Francesco Stella, as you say, Josip, preparing to come on. Have they left it too late?
7 minutes to go.
Alexander. In dangerously. Lambatarides at the back post. Ball somehow still in play. Beakhurst. Crooks. Hops against the ball into the danger area. They try and fashion a more clear crossing opportunity. And that one's headed out by Ntumanopoulos. And Kamal Ibrahim will be replaced. Yuta Konagaya goes to right wing back. So we hear the instructions from the Port Melbourne bench. He's certainly a back three now after they started in a 4-2-3-1. Kamal Ibrahim takes his leave. Francesco Stella on for the final few minutes here.
Shouldn't be too much stoppage though, Josh. We did have a lot in the first half, about 4 minutes played.
Alexander, the long throw. It's bobbling inside the Port Melbourne penalty area. Kiusis got a foot on it. Alexander's header. It's pinball at the moment. The overhead kick from Beakhurst. I don't think it was a shot, but that would have been spectacular.
Well, that was going close to creeping into the front post. Matthew Symes had to be on his toes there. Had he not been paying attention, that one could have creeped in for a Bentleigh winner. Port Melbourne on the attack.
Would have been an embarrassing one to concede at the low velocity. Now Francesco Stella getting his first involvement. Journeyman career he's had. Melbourne victory. Junior at Chievo Verona in Italy. Rangers. He's played in Thailand. His Wikipedia is just almost a world atlas.
Well, it's colourful to say the least.
Hasn't really settled anywhere. He does return to Port Melbourne. Spent 2 seasons here before playing at Caroline Springs George Cross last season. The fallen Giants looking to make their way back into NPL this season. Here's Awad. Christodoulou, the man who played State League 1 last year. Awad. Stella. Kiusis now. Trying to get some separation. Feels for handball. I think the arms are up, but from our vantage point, didn't seem as if the ball actually made contact with them. Was taking a risk there. think it was James Exidius. Webster for Schiavo, looks for the quick release to Beakhurst. It's behind him, gives Connor Geyer a chance to recover.
Does just that. McCare going forward on an advantageous run. Can't lose it now.
This game on a knife edge. Duggan for Stella. Connor Guy's free at the back post. Stella hasn't seen him. Pass was on for Connor Guy, the switch. Opportunity goes begging, and now Bentleigh try and switch it again. The release. He's just behind the wide player, and the momentum is lost.
Yeah, with 3 minutes to go, you'd be expecting a bit more clarity in the passes as that one's belted.
Very difficult back pass for Harvey Lopez. Almost too hot for him to handle. Jack Webster does brilliantly to reel in the situation for Bentleigh. And Schiavo has the beating of De Godoy. And now Bentleigh have numbers in the box. Webster joining the attack. Now Beakhurst, is this his moment? Might fall for McGrath. Still can't get it clear, Port Melbourne. It's Schiavo, in for McGrath, and over the crossbar. And that might have been it. What a chance for Bentleigh, and it goes begging.
Well, there was quite a few chances there. Fell for Beakhurst, fell for Schiavo, for McGrath. But none of them were able to get that final touch, and then that final shot over the bars. Port Melbourne go the other way. It's end-to-end stuff here at JL Murphy Reserve with 2 minutes to go.
Thrilling finale to this one. Duggan turning his man inside and out. Awards. Chris Dudulu getting involved in the attack. Trying to tee up Stella at the back post. Exidius gets enough on it to send it behind. And it's a Port Melbourne corner.
Port Melbourne are really going to have to make do of this. Have a look at the back three. The makeshift back three are all going forward. And Tumanopoulos has been told to stay back. He might be the only one, together with Symes, to stay back. Looks like Chris Dudulu might hang back as well. But you really, really want Port Melbourne to take this one and see the crowd erupt here tonight, I reckon, Josh.
Kiusis can't get ahead on it, and Bentleigh have a chance to clear it through Webster. He tried to play the more risky pass and let Port Melbourne back in. Connor Geyer. The roof would come off this place if Port Melbourne can get a late winner.
Oh, there you see Connor Geyer. He could have put the ball in, but couldn't get it past Jack Webster.
Connor Geyer turning Alexander. That will be a free kick against the Japanese. Cook's taking it quickly for Webster.
Bentleigh Green's looking to put on...
Look, it's Will Dumanis, a late sub for Bentleigh. Defender, can play in midfield as well.
And how many minutes of stoppage time would you give, Josh?
Goodness, maybe 2, 3 tops. I think it's been pretty free-flowing in the second half, even with the goal and a few substitutions. Award. That's an awful challenge from Matt Crooks. He thinks he got the ball, in fact, but referee not interested. Yellow card. And a little bit of push and shove involving Duggan now.
Well, I don't know if Awad's just resting or is he in a lot of pain there, because that did not look comfortable at all, that challenge. Very late.
Very heavy as well. He may have injured his left shoulder here. And it will be a substitution. Bentleigh's final change. Will Dumanis comes on for James Exidius. And the Port Melbourne medical team just checking the range of movement. They've already made all 3 subs, so if Awad can't continue here, they'll have to finish the game with 10 men.
Yeah, we've probably got maybe a minute or 2 remaining. Could even be the last chance if this one takes over a minute, but it will be... we're just hearing 4 minutes added on, actually. We got that information.
There you go. Konagaya. Care was there. Lopez opts for the punch. Award will stay on the field. Of course, new rules dictate that if a yellow card is awarded, you can stay on the field of play, and even if the medical team is required. Stella on set piece duties now. Takes it short. Kiusis in space. Webster heads away. And now Dover releases Finn Beak. I think it was Alex Galvo, I should say. And no foul.
Jack Morgan believes that Entumanopoulos' challenge there was all clean. Fair play.
I have to say I'm surprised by that, but it's a long way from us, of course. Duggan. Still Duggan in low. Cross-come shots. Sharp intake of breath for both sides, but it's out for a goal kick.
Well, I mean, Duggan took the shot there, and it was Awad and Konagaya who weren't really looking at the ball, and the ball went straight past them. I reckon if one of them had their eyes on the ball, they could have put a toe onto that and taken all 3 points.
It's the kind of concentration that maybe you lack after a tough, well-fought 90 minutes. And they're still trying to fashion the key chance. They're in here and gathered at the near post by Matt Symes.
Well, this match needs a winner, doesn't it, Josh?
That's all it's lacking. It's been a great night of entertainment here at JL Murphy. Demanis with the tactical foul. Around the grounds, Dandenong City lead 1-0 over St Albans in the Croatian derby there. It's 1-1 now between Oakley Cannons and Heidelberg. And Hume have taken a 2-0 lead against Green Gully. Konagaya. Offside flag up against Duggan. Crooks. Ward applying the pressure. Bentleigh sticking to playing out from the back. Demanis, the substitute. Webster. Webster over the top. Looking for Dover. He will try and get the restart going quickly. In fact, he leaves it for Demanis. Demanis gets it back off Webster. It's against the cross. He's trying to find Dover. Duggan back doing the dirty work. Adam Piddick urging his team to get the defensive line up high. At least higher than they were sitting. It's a lovely switch from Jankovic. Out to Dover. Good chance to cross. Schiavo's header. And Symes gathers quite comfortably. And that's all we've got time for at JL Murphy Reserve. 1-1 it finishes. Goals from Yuta Konagaya in the first half, followed by an equaliser to Brent McGrath. All it lacked was a winner, Josip.
Well, you're right there, Josh. It was a fantastic match, but have to share the spoils tonight. It is Port Melbourne Sharks 1, Bentleigh Greens 1. It's been my pleasure to be here with you, Josh. Until next time.
It's goodbye for now in NPL Victoria. Thanks for watching.